Thanks for the warning.
And it says we're live. So here we are on Monday. Every other unreliable, random Monday for the Liberative live stream. I'm your host, Sean Cron. And with me today, I've got Jay Fry. Say hi, Jay.
How's it going, everybody?
And I've got Raggle Fraggle. Say hi, Raggle.
Howdy ho, boys.
And today, news of the day, the big news of the day. Silicon Valley has gone after Alex Jones en masse and banned him from all platforms.
Is that yours, Silicon?
Nah, I typed it today and thought, that's funny. I'm surprised they don't use that.
I'm going to use it.
Silicon Valley.
Oh. Stolen.
Yoink.
How do you requisition a meme over voice? Yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah, it doesn't look good typed out. I can say that much, but it does work phonetically.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So YouTube banned him, killed all of his channels. Facebook banned him, which I'm not sure how that works other than killing his channels, but I don't know if that means you can't link memes of Alex Jones or if you can't link mentions to Alex Jones. I have no idea how that works on Facebook. Who else did? Those two did. Somebody
Pinterest.
else. Oh, Pinterest did.
Of all people, or of all social medias.
I don't know how that works either. I mean, what did he have? I mean, it's not like he's known for crafts, unless you want to consider his supplements.
Negative. Sort of... The art of tearing off a shirt.
It is. He does some darning afterwards. Yeah, it's pretty good. I've noticed when I go to
shirt.
Yeah, I share a lot of YouTube videos with you idiots and other people. I got other friends. Don't doubt me. I don't. No. That when I share a link, which means I copy the hyperlink from YouTube and take it over to Twitter. If I then go on to my Pinterest without having copied something else, it will download to Pinterest my copied hyperlink. So they're doing some sort of weird storage thing that I'm not aware of. That I didn't sign off on it either, but I don't care. It's not like I'm sharing nuclear secrets or anything yet.
Pinterest is one of those sites that actually pisses me off because, like, when I search for something, it's like they're always in the top 36 links and they're like ubiquitous. And every time I click on them, because I refuse to have a Patreon account or not a Patreon account, but a Pinterest account, it just kills me to no end that it pops up to like what I want. And then it immediately pops over with a pop splash page saying, you need to log in to look at this. So yeah. I'm saying fuck Pinterest. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'll do like a custom shotgun search or something. I'm like, well, let's look at some custom shotguns. And then like the third one down is a lamp. I'm like, what? How did this get in the queue? Custom lamps?
Pinterest was always one of those sites I never really understood. Like I got MySpace right away. I got Facebook right away. Twitter took me a little time to figure out. Instagram took me about a week. Snapchat, I still don't do anything on it, but it's fun to follow. Pinterest, I don't get it.
I get Pinterest better than I get Gab or Minds.
Minds screwed me over. I had an account with Minds, and now it used to auto log in for me, and now it no longer does. And it says that I'm not me.
Oh, yeah, it went two-step. Yeah, every time.
Well, I'm okay with two-step. It's just that it doesn't let me go in as me to reset the password or set it back up again. It keeps telling me that I don't exist, so I'm done with Minds. I mean, I was never really on there much anyway, but I'm done. I'm searching right now I'm searching Patreon. I think Patreon. I don't know if Alex Jones had Patreon.
No. Paul Watson probably does, though.
Oh, look, Alex Jones Infowars. Let's see.
Brand new?
He has 11 patrons and is making $24 per creation.
Oh, someone with a $2. Nice.
This looks like it might be pirated.
I actually never watched the InfoWars. I was never subbed to InfoWars. There was a guy named, well, I won't give his name because I don't even know if he's still on, but he used to religiously record the AGA stream or the InfoWars stream and then cut out the advertisements and put it on his channel. And he had like 300,000 subscribers. And Alex, every couple of days he'll say like his content's free to pirate. Like he just wants the information out there, and so that guy's making decent money, 300,000 subs, and he puts out like 6 hours of content a day.
That's not a bad idea. Well, it's a horrible idea, but it's pretty crafty. I'll give him that. Plus, you get the silver play button for nothing. And all these other people do all this hard work to get their play button. This guy just gets one.
Yeah, he does edit. So, it's watching, the stream. I figure it starts at 10 a.m. Yeah, he gets to it at like 11 a.m. And like an hour and a half later, the first video is out. 2 hours later, the second video is out. By 3 p.m.
Hour chunks.
Yeah. Well, Alex does hour chunks too. Now he did live streams and he does all sorts of stuff. But he would do hour chunks, which really are 40 minutes. But I've definitely seen some like 60-minute segments because there's times he blows off all advertisements. My favorite Alex Jones was the episode he did with Blair White. Did you guys see that one?
I didn't.
I am not a frequent viewer of Alex Jones.
I wasn't either, but I watched it for Blair White because they were talking about trans and transhumanism, and he's doing well. Like he's holding his own. And then at the very end, they got one more segment left, and he's like, and after these commercial breaks, can you hang on for one more segment? And Blair's like, yeah. And he goes, okay, and we'll talk about trans-species robot engagements. And Blair's just like has this dumbfounded look. It's absolutely hilarious. It's like, what now? Because it was all a very regular and mundane show up until that point.
Well, I don't think I've ever watched the show InfoWars or Alex Jones show or whatever it's called or whatever iteration it may be. But today, because of all the news, I turned it on, and yeah, it's 110% wall-to-wall propaganda, and it's turned up to 11, dude. But holy crap! I don't know that it warrants the reaction that Silicon Valley dropped on it, and I think that's where I think they made a tactical mistake. I think that they did it as a test run to see what they could get away with, for who they could ban and how they could ban them and what kind of uproar would happen from banning outright some of the conservative news sources. Because the shadow banning it's there, it's real, but the signal is still getting broadcast on these platforms. But
they're just not getting new people.
No, but it's getting circulated amongst people, and those people have, friends of friends of friends of friends, yada, yada, yada. But the fact that all of this has happened within a 12-hour span by 4 or 5 separate Silicon Valley companies, if that doesn't indicate some sort of cabal, I don't know what does. And I think that's their tactical error, because now Trump's going to look at it And maybe even some members of Congress are going to look at this and go, yeah, that's a trust. That's an oligarchical trust. You guys are up to you don't want this regulation. And we just had Zuckerberg in here lying to us, provably.
Yeah.
Jax refused to come up and talk. Shadow banning has been denied, yet been irrevocably proven. You guys got some answering to do, and they're going to come for you, especially right ahead of the midterms, because this is obviously.
We just broke the 100 days. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably why the timing is what the timing is that it's so close to the midterms. And there's a bunch of, I know our primary is like in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. Somewhere. Yeah. It's at the end of the month. It's at the end of the month. So
I think Minnesota or Montana too. They haven't had their primaries yet.
Right. So, I mean, you want to talk about colluding to influence an election. That's exactly what Silicon Valley is doing right now. And they may have made the mistake of making Alex Jones, of all people, not quite the martyr, but definitely they beatified him as a saint.
I think that was Jones' ploy the whole time.
Oh yeah, he's his quote unquote outrage today is he wanted it. He's loving it and he's playing it up. That being said, it's 100% legitimate. I mean, they did this to him, so you can't really say that he's faking it.
I bought a premium prescription or subscription. Well, I attempted to. I cannot find the place to do it.
I've got a fever, and the only prescription
more cowbell
is more InfoWars. Apparently,
more InfoWars. So I will be getting one of those whenever the hell I can find it. And when you get a subscription, you get like the link, and that's up to like 20 people. So you can add like 20 people to your subscription.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
Yeah. So I'm going to add all my friends and then find 17 other people who want it.
I mean, it's one of those things you've got to take it with a grain of salt. Actually, got to take it with like a freaking cartload of salt because it's propaganda. But if right here, right now, if you do not get on board with this action being undertaken by the companies in Silicon Valley, if you're trying to justify what they've done to Alex Jones, you are un-American and you are on the wrong side of this issue.
Oh, can we talk about that statement for a minute? The un-American thing?
Yes.
Holy hell. Where was it? Ohio, or was it? Where was the Casa when he got bombarded by the blacks? That was Tampa? He was in Tampa, Florida, at a Trump
I thought it was Ohio. It was one of the two because there was two back to back. There was one in Tampa and one in.
Yeah, but he got the heavy booze at the Tampa one, and then they went to because SC Cup was there for the Ohio one as well. But so Jim Acosta is getting the CNN fake news and the booze and the calls of fake news at a Florida Trump rally. Anyone who has seen a Trump rally knows it's wall-to-wall American flags, patriotism, and 6 jackasses who at some point are going to interrupt the conversation and get thrown out. Every time. Well, convention. I guess I said conversation. So Acosta says it felt like I wasn't even in America. Like all the patriotism and flag waving made you feel like you weren't in America, you jerk.
Look, let's name the elephant in the room. Acosta wants
finally the Jews.
Because Acosta, as far as I can tell, is nominally, some sort of ethnicity that is not.
Is he Cuban?
I think he's Puerto Rican. No, you're right. He is Cuban. He's Cuban.
Yeah.
Which whatever. But the elephant in the room is the fact that Jim Acosta wants to be the news. He doesn't want to report the news. He doesn't want to give you a fair evaluation. He wants to be a victim, and he wants to be the story, which is why you're only hearing about this nonsense on CNN and CNN's affiliates like Headline News.
Yeah.
I guess you get nominal coverage of it by Fox News because it's absurdity. But outside of that, I don't think ABC, NBC, or CBS carried any of that nonsense.
Mm-hmm. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. And it's its own propaganda, which leaves me to not give a shit against InfoWars propaganda. And at the same time, Alex Jones, full propaganda. A lot of it is propaganda.
Bell look tame.
But at the same time, that propaganda is like 70 to 80% truth. And if you take
I won't. Okay, so I don't think it's 70 to 80% truth. What I think it is there is kernels of truth in what he says, but it's 70 to 80 to 90% hyperbole of those truths. And it's taken to an extreme and ratcheted up to 11 or 12 on the volume and the pressure for the consumers that love to eat that shit up.
All right, 60% truth, 20% hyperbole. Well, if you were reading this, you'd think hyperbole. And 20% just made up nonsense propaganda. But I'm going with more than just
the thing he's most famous for. The thing he is most famous for. Turning the frogs friggin' gay.
Mm-hmm.
80% true.
I would say 90 to 95% true.
Well, it's 80 because it's intersex.
Right. It wasn't turning them homosexual. It was actually changing the physiology of the frogs from one sex to another.
Physiognomy?
Physiofrognomy. I don't know.
Yeah, so that sentence, chemicals in the water turning the freaking frogs gay. That's 85% true. It's just the gay that's the mistake.
Right. It's not turning them gay, but it is actually genetically re-engineering their gender. And that is absolutely true.
The estrogen mimickers in the pill that a woman takes to not have her cycle complete is what the estrogen mimickers, you pee them out, those go into the water supply. The water supply then goes into the pools, ponds, and lakes. And the frogs are hit hard with the mimicker, and it takes them from male to female. That's the version of what's happening.
Here's the list of the places that banned them. I knew I was missing a couple. Google, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple, and Pinterest. So 5 companies today banned Alex Jones and InfoWars.
I just got the InfoWars app.
Right. It's not like you need these platforms to get what he's saying. Plus, I still think he's still using all the old Air America broadcast infrastructure, which is hilarious.
Well, now I want to check and see if that app's working.
Well, I wonder how long before. Well, do you have an Apple phone? Do you have an iPhone?
Fuck no. Okay,
so
it won't be able to be updated.
Raggle, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I'm checking now.
Yeah, see if that's available, because I would bet it's not.
What is that, the iStore? Is that where you go?
Yep.
The eyesore? It's Alex freaking Jones. Okay, so I have a huge problem with these people who lie about Trump, who is also at about 60 to 80% truth.
It's still available for download.
All right.
Well, you better grab it now.
Yeah. I still love the guy, but it's not always 100%. But he just said something recently that was like 70% of the stories about him are a lie, and CNN called him a liar because it was 68%.
Right. Well, and you get that with the fact checkers, the preordained truth keepers, fact checkers. Like when Trudeau's eyebrow fell off.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's false. It didn't fall off. It just slipped.
4
Okay.
inches away from his
Yeah.
eyebrow.
I was going to say, yeah. Okay, so it didn't detach fully from his person, but yeah, it fell off. Okay, that's the truth. That's the core truth that we're trying to get at. And Crowder did a video with one of his guys
Oh, I watched that. Yeah.
fact checking the Washington Post fact checking a Trump speech. And you want to talk about the height of ridiculousness. And I know Crowder cherry picks, and he rushed that along for whatever reason, but it's worth a watch.
There were 76 of them.
Well, he
The
only was
guy
going to
just
do a
sent
dozen.
him. The guy just sent him an email with 76 blatantly false statements from the media about the false statements of Trump.
Not just the media, the specific media, the Washington
Washington
Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos of Amazon. So,
yeah. But Alex Jones had one back in 2015. My wife and I, we enjoyed the hell out of InfoWars. It was hilarious at the time. My ex-wife and I. Alimony. Jeez. And he started with this Jade Helm 2015. Do you guys remember that?
That was the cross country.
Actually, it took place in your area of the woods. It was.
Yeah. Well, I think it took place across most of the country.
No, it's just 7 states, but it was the whole Southwest, and Texas and Arizona were marked because they're the Patriots as enemies. But it was like supposed to simulate like Iraq, Iran, those kind of areas, and it was just it was a war game that the military was doing. And I happened to catch the first episode, and he stated in the episode that one of his viewers found it on the site that the military uses to dump non-classified information. And he explained that they do huge dumps of this non-classified stuff because it has to be, viewed to the public, and they find this out of the way site and they dump it there. Both Rachel Maddow and Megyn Kelly, she was at Fox at the time, claimed that Alex Jones employed a hacker to break into the Pentagon for super secret squirrel shit files, and their take of it was a military overthrow of the country is basically what they claimed it was. When he was saying it was in fact a way to acclimate the citizenry of seeing military on the streets. And as a magician, which I am sometimes, we have what's called a feint. And then we have something called a double feint. And a feint is when you do something for real, like you take a coin and you put it in your hand. You take a coin back, put it in your hand again, but this time you've made it disappear, up your sleeve, down your pants, freaking around the world, however the hell you do it. And that's called a feint. It's when you do something for real before you do something for fake. So they understand that action means this. And a double feint is when you actually do it on the first time, but you make it look so suspicious that the attention is drawn to the place where you want it to be drawn, but they think you don't want the attention to be drawn. Does that make sense?
Sorta.
Okay.
Maybe.
So, and in this case, it's a feint. It's getting somebody accustomed to seeing something so that later it can be done. But that didn't happen because most of it got shut down because of public outcry. They still did some of it to prove they were going to do it no matter what, but it wasn't to the scale that had been planned. It was like 36 pages or 17 pages or 4 pages. I don't know. But they only did like 8 pages of the seriously, like 28 pages. It was very minimally done. It didn't even cross states anymore. It was just held in Texas. A whole bunch of it being cut down from what it was. And the funniest thing of all is Alex Jones pointed out that Walmarts were going to be used as FEMA camps, for the
Nailed it.
uprising. And
Makes
everyone
sense.
laughed at that and called it a joke. But aren't 2 of the current detention centers being used to house these the kids that they can't find the parents to because the DNA tests proved that the parents weren't the people who claimed they were the parents weren't the parents? Aren't 2 of those Walmarts?
2 in South Texas, yeah.
Yeah, 2 reclamated Walmarts are being used. Cameras were in place, infrastructure was in place. That's not a little bit surprising to me.
No, it makes sense. I mean, they're already pre-equipped with great surveillance systems. You wall off the
Garden center.
basically wall off the garden center. Or they're not hard to fortify.
Mm-hmm.
Shipping routes have already been pre-established, and the guys at Walmart can just turn them back on literally with a couple of clicks of the computer. So supplying them is wicked easy. Yeah, I mean, it makes tons of sense. I don't know. Just the fact that they're Walmarts doesn't make, it could be Targets for who cares? It's just you say Walmart and people start salivating at, because they're Pavlovian response to, but they're evil. No, they're just really efficient. I mean, it could be anything. It could be Home Depots for that matter.
How much are you going to get hurt by a Walmart closing? I live on a mountaintop, and there's 3 within 15 minutes. Well, at the top of the mountain.
Okay, so I can tell you the bleeding heart view of that one. Bleeding heart view of that one is when a Walmart comes into any area, they kill off everything else around it just because they're Walmart.
Good.
Okay, so you start losing other services because the Walmart's doing them. So then when you close down said Walmart, it becomes a barren wasteland for shopping and services because there's nobody in that area to service. And normally those are going to be poor areas because let's face it, if a Walmart shuts down, something is wrong with the area. So yeah, that's the route that they're going to take.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying I can head west, east, or north. If I went south, it'd be up the mountain. But and I can get to a Walmart within 15 minutes. In Tennessee. But yeah, so I'm calling it at least over half truth of what Alex Jones says. And if you replace like any of the weird combination of names that he had, the melange of titles and lists of adjectives, you get something serious out of it. Lizard people, globalists. Well, those are the same thing, but that's beside the point. But they are actively doing the things that he claims. I've never heard him say anything that I couldn't link some bit of truth to it. Even 20 years ago when he was talking about chimeras. Those are absolutely a thing. And they have been for 30 years.
Yeah, well, like I said, he makes Art Bell look tame because he takes that same sort of weird esoteric stuff and turns the volume up on it and whatnot. So, I mean, while I can agree that there's truth in, much like Trump, there's truth in what he says. It's just how he says it and how it's received becomes something completely different than quote unquote the truth.
Well, I mean, if you really want to see outlandish Alex Jones, all you have to do is watch his talk with Rogan. That's when he gets into, the government controls the weather. The Turn of the Frogs Gate was turned up to 11. The interdimensional transgender pedophiles. What was it? Something like that?
In fairness to Alex Jones, he was high as a kite. No.
That is fair.
He was high.
That's right, because Joe smoked him out before they went live.
Well, and then he smoked one with him too, live.
And as far as go ahead.
Well, like like you're seeing, and he brought it up today too, because I turned it on today for the first time ever, and wow. But yeah, he's going through a lawsuit with his ex-wife, and she's trying to get sole custody of the kids. And during his trial, it's come out that even he has said, I play a character for the show. So that's not really the real Alex Jones. That's a personification and a character, much like Colbert was a caricature on the Colbert Report on Comedy Central. Oh, speaking of which, did you see what Comedy Central tweeted today?
I did.
Good
Fucking
God.
assholes.
What a bunch of just, I mean, what happened to being funny?
I haven't been funny in years.
Yeah, it is no more.
They killed comedy, man. They literally just ran it through.
The only thing I go to Comedy Central for now is South Park. That's it.
I didn't even
Nothing
watch
else.
the Bruce Willis roast, and I love Bruce Willis.
Yeah, same here.
You want me to pull up the tweet?
I'm looking for it too, but yeah, if you can get
I
it
got
to
it.
it quick.
Now the racists only have Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, Gab, and the WhiteHouse.gov. And it's the Guardian, Facebook, Apple, Spotify ban Infowars. Alex Jones.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being that goddamn miserable as a human being? So whoever's running the Comedy Central Twitter feed needs to freaking put a gun in their mouth and pull the trigger till it goes click.
What's the name of that guy who I know Viacom owns Comedy Central, but who owns Viacom?
I think that's ABC, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see.
No, because Disney owns ABC.
Oh, that's right. Viacom. Well, I mean, there's only 5 major companies.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's
Disney
see.
doesn't own Viacom. They're two separate entities.
Is it still Sumner Redstone? And by Sumner Redstone, I mean Sumner Rothstein.
One Astor Plaza, New York. Viacom. Let's see, who else do they own? CBS.
Okay.
So you're right. It's not ABC, it's CBS. Paramount, BET, MTV. Oh, they own MTV. There you go. And of all things, Neopets.
Really?
What? That's almost as bad as when I found out that IHOP and Applebee's were owned by a something like the name of like Amerijucor or something like that.
Oh, I guess they own Nickelodeon too. That's weird. I thought Nickelodeon was
Bummer.
a Canadian thing. Well,
Yeah,
I know Nickelodeon used to be a Canadian thing.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Oh, that's why. Nickelodeon's part of MTV Networks.
Oh, I always thought that Nickelodeon was always part of under CBS because it was always the Disney Channel versus Nickelodeon. That's how I put the two together.
That's true. But I know that when Nickelodeon started, because I remember when Nickelodeon started, because I am old, that it was mostly Canadian.
Okay.
Oh, that explains why Liza Koshy is the new Mark Summers.
Yeah.
Talk about Mark Summers. That's a weird guy. He is incredibly OCD and the host of freaking Double Dare.
The messiest show on television.
Like, literally, like, what was that slime thing? That's the only worst thing he could have ever done. You can't do that on television?
That's where the slime... Yeah, the slime started on You Can't Do That on Television, which is a Canadian thing. So...
Yeah, with the 35-year-old teenagers.
Let's see. Christine Moose, whatever her last name was like 22 or 23 when she was doing the show. So they were all, just very young adults.
Well, that's kind of like, what was that guy on on the Hannah Montana show, he was like 32 or something. He was playing a 17-year-old.
I cannot think of a sloppier show than Double Dare.
No, there wasn't, and it was intentionally sloppy because the kids dug it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that used to come on right after Danger Mouse.
Like they literally had a game where you had to pour water onto somebody wearing a helmet over their face with shoes that were made of like 6-inch sponges. I don't know how you're supposed to accomplish that, but it was quite the mess. It's like if the Lost Boys created a game and OCD Peter Pan was the host.
The only thing I can think of is that he, oh wow, here's all the television networks they have. BET, Her, which I didn't even know was a thing. BET.
The Jews own BET. That's hilarious.
Jams, BET Soul, Channel 5. I don't know what that is. CMT Music, Comedy Central, Logo, MTV, MTV2, MTVU, MTV Classic, MTV Live, Nick at Night, Nick Jr., Nickelodeon, Nick Music, Nicktoons, Noggin, Paramount, Teen Nick, Telefe, MTV Tres, MTV3 in Spanish. It's got to be.
That's Trace.
Yeah, it's Trace. TV Land, VH1, 5 Star, and 5 USA. Plus, they own Comedy Central Records and Nick Records.
So they own Nickelodeon, but they don't own Nick Jr.?
They do. Nick Jr.'s on that list.
Oh, okay. There was a lot there.
Yeah, Paramount, Nickelodeon, MTV. Those are the three big ones. Comedy Central Films, MTV Films, Nickelodeon Movies.
CNN, the NFL's first male dancers will hit the sidelines this season. That's how you bring the guys back to sports.
They're not trying to bring the guys back to sports.
Could have fooled me.
They really aren't with this.
No, they want women. Women spend more money.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about this tomorrow, but we'll talk about this right now. In my list of the 5 stupidest people that I can think of that are famous, while LeBron James isn't on the list, I don't know him well, and I have seen him in boots and shorts in a suit, so it lends me to believe he's not the brightest bulb in the box. But Don Lemon is, as well as Maxine Waters, Sheila Jackson-Lee, Hank Johnson, and Wolf Blitzer. I can't think of dumber people than that are regularly on TV.
I have to admit, I have a seething hatred for Don Lemon. Watching him, I can't even watch him because I get viscerally angry at him because of his belligerence and his unwillingness to actually seek truth. If he's not pushing a narrative, he's not on TV. He's not, I mean, I've never seen him actually seek out truth. The closest thing that he's done is he went after that, the clip that Matt had on his show last night with the one who looks like Missy Elliott. What's her name?
I have no idea what you're talking. I just watched the show this morning.
Yeah, and I forgot her name already.
Yeah, it's the one with the looks like a cross between Missy Elliott and the chick from Saturday Night Live, Leslie
Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, she's the one who sees racism in literally everything. Everything is racist, and she was doing mental backflips to say that the the Xiong chick was not a racist, and Don Lemon kind of pressed her on it, but he was asking really milquetoast questions. And
Kamala Harris.
No, Kamala Harris is the junior senator from New York, from California.
Mm-hmm.
She's just all about identity politics, which is
that was not backflips, by the way. That was Olympics grade gymnastics.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What is her name?
Yeah, that's kind of bugged me too.
But yeah, I mean, he
She's
kind
a
of
legit new.
he just asked. I mean, he obviously had these questions, and no matter what direction she was going to take, he was going to ask the 3 or 4 questions he had written down, and it just so happened that it played out like he was challenging her a little bit because she didn't go down the road that like everybody would have expected her to go down because she finds racism and everything. So I don't know, but that's the closest he's ever come to anything. And I seethe with rage at that guy because he's just terrible.
Yeah, my favorite Don Lemon is that part where he's at Simone Sanders.
That might be it.
Yeah, I think it's Simone Sanders.
Hang on, I'll Google her and I'll confirm or deny it.
Yeah. When this studio and they were on the street and they talked to a white guy and he's talking about taking to the streets and destroying it because Trump won and we need a populist rebellion led by the people.
Simone
And
Sanders.
at the end of it,
with a Y.
it is Simone Sanders.
It is her, yeah.
Okay, I was going through my list of stupid black people. Jamu Green was really a popular one there for a second, and then at the end of it, when they cut back, he's talking to the reporter again, and Don Lemon specifically points out that the guy they interviewed is the cameraman he took to Iraq with him, a CNN cameraman. Because he's so stupid, he didn't realize that was a plant.
Yeah, well, okay, so it was about, I don't know, 10 years ago when I was listening to the Rush Limbaugh show, and they had an obvious plant call in. And I started noticing that.
Is this back when Rush was still on pills?
No, it was after he was off television because that was a short run, only in the early, like late 80s and early 90s. This is probably, let's see, it was before I moved back here, so it must have been 97 that I noticed this. The obvious shill call. And since then, I've been trying to, figure out who's a shill, who's not a shill. And you can kind of tell because the non-shill calls are oftentimes, really fringe, kooky folks. And then usually the show calls, his response is extensive, well-measured, and obviously pre-written. So I liked playing the game where I was like, okay, how many shills is he going to have on this hour, sort of thing. And then I started looking for it in other shows as well. And if anybody doesn't think that happens on literally everything that's produced, isn't living in reality. Much like there's no such thing as a reality show. Everything is produced. Everything you see or hear in the media is produced. Mm-hmm. Unless you're catching a live feed from somewhere, it's
and even that's been
produced. Well, yeah, like when CNN did that thing in Britain where they got like 20 Muslims to go stand on a street corner and then cut a really tight camera shot of them, and it made it look like it was a huge crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
You've seen that repeatedly.
You can do that sort of thing too. But like I said, like, unless you're seeing a live feed from like somebody's cell phone on Periscope or Facebook Live or Twitter or something, chances are you're looking at a produced piece of material.
Mm-hmm. So many atrocities just lying straight to our face. It's a shame, really. But I can't think. Like, I've been seeing for the entire Obama administration and pretty much half, if not more, of the Bush administration, the media is an enemy of the people. They have a specific agenda that they want accomplished, and they're going to drag you kicking and screaming. But only very recently have I decided that the media is the enemy, not just an enemy to the people. They actively want you dead, broke, unemployed, your children taken, and you silenced. And it's been probably 2 to 3 years of the 4 years that we've seen Trump being around for the media's destruction.
Well, they certainly were lapdogs to the Obama administration, even though the Obama administration literally had them investigated, literally had them spied upon, and put a few of them in jail.
That doesn't count. Those were Fox people. The only ones not sucking his butt.
I thought a couple of them were CNN too. Or no, New York Times. I think it was New York Times.
Was it Times?
I know it wasn't
Post?
the Post. No, it wasn't the Post. I know. Well, no. Now I don't know. I'd have to go back and look again. But yeah, that was an early thing. That was like an
yeah.
Early
it was like he was first in office, and Rosen was already under investigation.
Yeah. So, I mean, say what you want about the nefarious crap the Bush cabal pulled. They were pushing for enemies foreign, not domestic. And it seems like that flip-flopped as soon as Obama took office.
Mm-hmm. And it flipped back once Trump took office. They want the weapons of mass destruction that we didn't find in Iraq to be used on us. Even though there are no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Because that's what they say.
I happen to know from a firsthand account of somebody who stumbled upon some of the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq that they were disposed of, a lot of them, and some of them were moved off to Syria, which is why Syria is now the hotbed of contention. And
exactly how
don't
that happened.
For a second think that that's not a direct follow-through of what happened in Iraq.
Yep. That you're 110%. Whoever your source is, I've read reports on it. That is what happened. There were stockpiles discovered in Iraq, and there was visual records of trucks being taken into Libya, Syria.
Yeah, and he physically disposed of some of those weapons, and the reason you never heard about them and they were a non-issue is because they were stamped. Well, no, they were stamped made in France, made in Germany. And we would literally be exposing allies as having broken the sanctions. And we were not willing to hang our allies out to dry for the truth.
But that's beside the point. Reagan sent WMDs to Iraq. Clinton sent
against Iran.
Yeah. I mean, we sent mustard gas under 3 different presidents. It was Bush, and Clinton to for the I don't it's complete bullshit to me, but we sent them mustard gas so they could come up with a way to defeat mustard gas, even though we had a way to defeat mustard gas ourselves.
Well, it never hurts to have more than one way.
Not fair enough, but still, you send the antidote. You don't send the poison.
No, in this case, you send the poison so that you can see what happens if you were to use said poison. It's field testing. It's military-industrial complex field testing. That's all these skirmishes and proxy wars are.
Mm-hmm.
You got to use the stuff up so you can replace it.
Exactly. That's why I'm such a believer in MK Ultra being leaked to pedophiles. Is the CIA no longer had funding for this incredibly awesome weapon that they just needed to get the kinks worked out of, so they leaked it to pedophiles, who could then invest the $300 million of research and technology to figure it out completely so it could be used effectively to have it then seized back and used. Just never got done. We once spent $10 million hot wiring a cat with a microphone and a transmitter. And sadly, that cat, who was trained to hang out around a park bench when it was released with $10 million of equipment inside it, was hit by a taxi.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Exactly.
Or that is a egg on face story that was manufactured to launder some money. One of the two.
Works for me.
Yeah. Oh, good question. Back to
We'll decide that. You just go ahead.
Back to Alex Jones. So if they get rid of all his apps, how many non-affiliated apps you think are going to pop up in its name that are like going to feed his stories through it? Because I see like 3 of them already.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean that was that goes back to the
plan to do about it rather.
Oh, they'll start eventually knocking them down one by one. It'll be a never-ending fight. But that's
I'm
where
actually going on YouTube right now to see if that guy who sends me the Alex Jones stuff is still on here.
I mean, this is the miscalculation of this move by these tech companies. Number one, they did it all within 12 hours of each other, proving a cabal. Number two,
cabal.
They don't know what they actually did today. They don't understand that genie is out of the bottle.
He's gone too.
Yeah, they're going to start playing a game of whack-a-mole with all these apps.
Basically. They did. The guy's name was Ron Gibson, and he lost his. I'm sure it's more than 300,000 now, or was, but yeah, he's gone now too. Holy heck!
We should start a channel called Knowledge Skirmish, and put that up there, or Knowledge Guerrilla Action.
Knowledge scrimmage. Just testing, guys.
Other euphemistic stuff. No, but part of the problem is the people that are cheering this move just astound me. I mean, it's going to come down to the point here in the next 5 years where people are going to start asking, where were you when they banned Alex Jones? Because this is just the start of something nefarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you want to talk about colluding in elections and trying to jigger the outcome of elections. Oh. This is exactly that.
Ooh, jigger. You better watch yourself, sir.
I know. And it's only going to get worse in 2020 because there's more at stake in 2020.
And this is one thing that if you listen to Peterson, this is something he brings up a lot. When you do something, it may come out the way you want. It may have the intended outcome, but you're going to have 10 other things that are going to pop up as a consequence that you did not expect.
That's the Biden rule in full effect.
Yep.
I don't remember when it was. Sean, any help here?
94. The Biden rule?
Under Clinton? That doesn't make sense.
Or no, it was 92. 92.
Okay. So the end of Bush 41's.
Yes.
So his final year in office, he was going to. Is that Clarence Thomas?
I think Clarence Thomas was before that.
It's late 80s.
I thought it was Sotomayor.
No, Sotomayor was a Obama appointee.
I fucking hate you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's true. I was in high
what
school
are you
when that
getting?
happened.
22?
28. Screw off.
Sotomayor. I think it was Kagan. Kennedy was elected by Bush Jr.
I'm pulling it up now.
Myers?
Okay.
Myers.
Joe Biden, while senator in 1992, said that if a Supreme Court vacancy occurred, President George Bush should not appoint a nominee until the election or should compromise on a nominee with the Senate.
Of course, a senator seeking more power. How crazy.
Scalia. No, wait a minute. No, this is, never mind. Doesn't say. because this is more current than this is not contemporary to the time.
So
I
there
guess
wasn't anybody, and he just threw out this law.
I
Like this
think what
idea?
happened is a vacancy was coming up, and he preempted the actual naming of a nominee with this bullshit.
Well, that came around 20 years later and bit him on the ass. Well, 30 years later. Yeah. The whole reason
You know who it was? Ginsburg.
Was it?
I thought she was in like 86.
She was appointed by Bill Clinton in August of 93.
Oh, okay.
Finally, you whiny ass bastards.
About
I didn't
goddamn
whine.
time.
I'm not
I'm sorry.
whining.
I
Hey,
was at a
everybody.
gym getting
It's the
healthy.
big red doggy.
I was at a gym getting healthy.
That's not how you
Uh-huh.
get healthy. You don't get healthy by being at the gym.
You get healthy by working out at the gym, which God knows how long it's been for you.
I had a very large sub the other day, so that counts towards curls.
I'll go with that. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Oh, Alfisto has dropped his rant on the same thing we're talking about this evening.
I have
Ooh.
no idea what the hell we're talking about. I just got on this call.
Well, we're talking about his sainthood, Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah. St.
Sainthood.
Alex.
Well, he's been beatified. That's basically what Silicon Valley did today, is beatified Alex Jones.
Quit using it, or else it makes it harder to steal.
It's okay. I read an article earlier while I was sitting in the dry sauna.
He just has missed you. That's okay.
That AJ Plus has reported that West Hollywood City Council is debating whether or not to permanently remove Trump's star from the Walk of Fame.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I tweeted about it too.
Holy hell.
It's
Literally one
It's
down and one left of Donald Trump is Kevin fucking Spacey.
Spacey? Yes, we know. What can we say about
have to
Hollywood?
stand.
What, the double standard?
You have to stand on him to hit Trump's star.
Yeah, I responded to that one. If you support this, you should don a brown shirt and an armband because you've
Yeah, I saw that.
just become a Nazi.
Second Civil War intensifies, John?
We're still way too far off from the actual fighting.
I definitely want to see my feet before I see the Civil War.
You should work on that.
Yeah, you should probably, take a walk.
You live on a mountain, right? Take a hike.
Well, the problem is I go downhill and then I got to go back uphill.
That's why you climb up the hill, then you can go downhill.
That seems too hard.
It's easier. Well, I mean, hey, you could always, just go running and feel like you're getting nowhere on a treadmill.
Civil War by rickshaw. Is that a thing we can do? Turn left, short round. We're going to war.
Here's what we can
Time
do.
for love, Dr. Johns.
Here's what we can do. We can modify one of the disability cards for you. We can put a couple M60s on the front of it. We can modify it to be a 24-volt system so it'll move somewhat quickly. And we can put larger motors in it so it can move because we're going to put armor plating on it.
That's not going anywhere with me on it.
Yeah.
If we put large enough motors on it, it will.
Large enough motors.
Josh,
we're just going to drag two motors behind it.
You can either have J on there or you can have armor plating. You can't have both.
Well, I didn't say Jay was going to be armored.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I meant the armor
What
plating.
What the shit? We call it the racism mobile. It's power plus, or it's privilege plus horsepower.
Privilege plus disability plus horsepower.
So a Bentley.
Rolls. Fuck yeah. Well, we strapped a Rolls Royce. We got this out of a 747. You should go semi-decently. You stalled out.
We can knock off a Spirit of Elegance hood ornament from a Rolls Royce and put it on there for you, Jay. How about that?
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm just, I don't know. But apparently, Daily Wire put out an article that was for. Hold on.
I smell fried chicken. Is that the cavalry?
If you're smelling fried chicken, and there's no fried chicken around you,
It's the cavalry.
Yeah.
It's the motorized cavalry.
Yeah.
Colonel
Okay.
Sanders?
So, man who threatened. Now, tell me how ridiculous this sounds, Jay Fry. Man who threatened House GOP had 200 rounds of ammo at his home.
Okay.
Hold on. I've got 6.
Exactly.
6. So that's 15. 6.
Oh.
Multiply and add a 0.
Holy crap.
I got 105. I got 106 rounds in my car right now.
I know. It's like
New York Times Opinion Twitter account has just put up a poll saying Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, and Apple have removed Alex Jones and InfoWars from their platforms. Should Twitter follow suit? Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
no, or they were on Pinterest?
What?
Those are the 3 options for this poll. Yes,
I
no,
would
or
probably vote they were on Pinterest.
3,000 votes and 73% are no. But of course, 7% are they were on Pinterest.
I would probably be part of the 7%. I am the 7%. I'm still surprised by that fact that he was on Pinterest.
But I mean, this is the New York Times opinion page blatantly, basically trying to suggest that Twitter needs to do what these other 5 companies have done.
You're acting surprised by this.
I'm just, the only thing I'm surprised about is the blatant openness about this, because everything about this is un-American. Like him or hate him. It
in
doesn't
the words
matter.
of a 90s teenage girl, well, duh. Yes, it's very un-American, but you're shocked by this.
I'm not.
The
Well,
left.
again, the openness is what I'm shocked about. I'm okay with people having the opinion.
Dude, this is the problem. This is what the progressives have led to. They want censorship because they want only their opinion to matter. And this
and that's the
how
only
they
way
got
that
good.
bad ideas can win is if they censor
good ideas.
all other ideas. It doesn't even matter if the other ideas are good, bad, or crazy,
Right.
like Alex Jones. They have to silence every
Piece of
differing opinion.
opposition.
Any diverse opinion has to be censored because their arguments are so terrible.
And horrid, yes, I would agree. But
I
yeah,
can't find it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I mean, I remember 10, 15 years ago when I was out there
there it is.
actively having to defend the right of the Westboro Baptist Church to do their bullshit.
I'd like to see them get beat up, though. I mean,
I love them suffering the consequences of their actions, but they need to be allowed to take the actions that they're going to take.
exactly. I don't agree with them, but to be fair, grandson probably has a flipper. So who's really the loser?
I agree. I mean, stupid people need to be allowed to go out and do stupid shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I find Alex Jones entertaining, and much like we discussed, hyperbole on, grand hyperbole on grains of truth. But yeah, you don't censor like this. It's disgusting.
So my question is it that they're winning, or is it things are intensifying because they're actually losing?
Yes.
They are losing, and this has 100% everything to do with the midterms.
Oh, I know. Duh.
Second one down. Should New York Times opinion be removed from YouTube, Apple, Pinterest, and Facebook? Yes, no, or who is the New York Times opinion?
Where is that?
It's
Retweet
two
that.
down. I did retweet it. It's
Okay.
literally the second response, and it's 9 minutes old. It's got 75 votes, and 85% are overwhelmingly yes. But here's the thing. All right, so this poll has been out for a little over 4 hours, 4 hours and 10 minutes, and it has 207 retweets, but only 74 likes. Now, normally, something has more likes than it does retweets. This just goes to show what people are voting on it and not liking it, because the New York Times opinion is what's it called?
Garbaggio.
There we go.
Dumpster fire.
It's a Fugazi.
I'm Richard Painter, and I know how to put out a fire.
And then he
Why
goes
is
on that
Grandpa
second
saying
show.
fire again?
Then he doubles down with that second show where he doesn't even put out the fire and it keeps
I know.
raging. That's
Yep.
absurd.
You know, the mantra after World War II is, where were you when they came after such and such? I was not such and such, therefore I did not defend such and such. It's that moment right now in America. Where were you in defending Alex Jones? Because they came for Alex Jones, and they will eventually come for you.
I'm more pissed because of the fact they removed a lolcow.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
And to some he was, and to some he was, the arbiter of truth, which is slightly scary.
Oh no,
Uh,
that's, yeah.
Hey,
Anybody
look. As I said earlier, there are kernels of truth. It's got a lot of fluff to it.
yeah, it's 90% hyperbole. Well, 80 to 90% hyperbole.
60% truth. Fuck your bearded faces.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? It was 60% truth, 20% hyperbole, and then 20%. I don't know where he's going with
Well,
this, but I want to see.
Again, just like, okay, so we've gone on and on about how the left they take Donald Trump literally but not seriously. And I think the same problem happens with Alex Jones. People who take Alex Jones literally shouldn't be operating motor vehicles, probably shouldn't have knives. But the fact that you don't take him seriously, well, maybe you don't need to take Alex Jones seriously. But for Trump, that stands true. You need to take him seriously because what he says has kernels of truth in it that are very dire indeed.
Well, now, I used to not understand the, first they came for the blacks, and I said nothing because I wasn't black, and then they came for the Mexicans, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't Mexican, and then we stopped locking our doors and had a good time. I didn't understand that like, why that was such a bad thing. But
because
I heard another version. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a Nazi quote originally. I just thought it was a good time to be had by all.
Yeah. See, most of the population isn't racist, so doesn't really.
You didn't know my grandpa, sir.
Well, yeah, my grandma probably did. Sign of the times, I guess.
Yeah. My brother said
it's
my dad was
forced on us.
racist. It was kind of funny. It's like, no, he wasn't. It was kind of funny. My brother's kind of a lefty.
I had a neighbor. Actually, I had a very famous, not very famous, local to Detroit. I grew up next to the Witherspoons, and they had 7 kids, And 6 of the kids were very successful within the Metro Detroit area. They did Motown music. They were lawyers. One was a doctor. And then the youngest, John, went to Hollywood and became just like the blackest, freaking ghettoest actor you could possibly imagine. Even changed the spelling of his name to be blacker. Actually, he was the dad on Friday.
Yeah.
All right. Not the real spelling of his last name. It's Witherspoon, not Witherspoon. His father, not highly educated, but he busted his ass. His sons were all highly educated, and his daughters as well. It was a black family, and they moved out because of the blacks that were moving into Detroit. Same thing that my family had to do because of the blacks that were moving to Detroit. The 70s blacks are entirely different than the blacks of today. And your father would have been more growing up in a time period earlier than us by a few decades. So the versions of racism are very different. If I see a black guy walking at me in a proper suit and a freaking merce, I'm not crossing the road. But if I see a black guy in saggy pants, a shirt 3 sizes too big, and 4 necklaces, I'll cross the road or move my hand back a little bit to my gun. And I would do the same thing if he was white. It's not the color of your skin, it's the culture of your character.
That's right.
Yeah, but we can't address that because, we're racist if we do.
Mm-hmm.
They always want us to be racist no matter what, which is really part of the problem. But so I hate having to quote Stefan Molyneux, but he's got a good point here. Very concise. Many laughed when real Alex Jones said that dark powers were out to get him. You're not paranoid if you're right.
That is not an argument.
Correct. It's a statement.
Okay,
I
I'm
hate that.
breaking up or talking up.
You were breaking up. Sean was perfectly clear. I do hate that Melanie quote.
Okay.
Not an argument. I'm like, that was a freaking statement, bro.
Yep.
Like I declared it. Like the Constitution. Yeah, I can't believe like what we're having to go through at this point. And we're less than 100 days out, and this is the first shot across the bow for the 100 days.
Trying to fix everything that they thought they got right during the 2016 election that led to the incorrect outcome. They're trying to go back and correct those errors. They thought that by showcasing Donald Trump, number one, basically for free because they thought he was crazy, they didn't realize that played into his favor because, it showcased that he got to say everything he wanted to say about everything. And people started going, yeah, you know what? That's actually real. That's actually true. So they lost control of the narrative by doing that. So now they're doubling down and making sure that any voice that might be influential in the wrong way is no longer visible to the vast majority of people.
Yeah, what was Trump's initial approval rating? 34, 32%, something like that?
It wasn't very high.
Which is still twice Congress, by the way.
Well, everybody hates Congress. I should take that back. Everybody hates everybody else's Congress people. Everybody loves their own.
I loved my Congressman, Thaddeus McCotter. I love that guy.
I like not only mine, but I like the ones in the 2 districts next to me. I think they're great people.
My mayor can beat up your mayor.
Our senators suck.
Corker. Yeah, I don't care for Corker at all. But he's being replaced by Blackburn, so we'll see. Not Blackburn.
Flake and McCain, dude.
Yeah. Well, Corker also it wasn't running again because there's no way he's getting reelected after his stupidity. But my mayor can beat up your mayor. Just let's wait.
True statement.
Who's your mayor? Because mine's Kane.
It doesn't matter who my neighbor, my mayor is. You are correct.
Yeah, Kane beat up a UFC champ who was just suspended for steroid use, and he still beat him up. God, Tim Silva, you were such an asshole. 6'7", you had 5 inches on everybody you fought, and you still had to go for steroids. You're a lazy bastard for the UFC. We are 100 days out, and wait, now we're definitely going to get some changes because Paul Ryan won't be Speaker of the House. Or no, I was talking about the numbers. Trump went from 34%. He's now over 50%. He went from 14% to 30% with the blacks and something like 17% to high 30s with the Latinos. That's impressive.
The only Latinos that don't like Trump are the ones in California. Like Latinos here in Arizona love him. I'm pretty sure that's the case in Texas and New Mexico as well. And most of the Latinos in Florida that I know, they're Cuban, mind you, they're Cuban refugees, so they all love him too.
Oh, Cubans, yeah, they don't worry about nothing. They got that amnesty. So they're not worried about it. They still have amnesty, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. We still have wet foot, dry foot.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we talk about the trust of the 17 intelligence agencies. I didn't even know we had 17 intelligence agencies.
Seems like about 16 too many.
Yeah, especially after we invented the CIA.
Yeah, well, nobody should ever trust anything the CIA says. It's kind of their job. I mean, they might even, you could argue that they perform an important function in the modern nation state, but you should never, under any circumstance, believe anything that they say.
Well, the CIA's job was to be Reader's Digest of Central Intelligence Agencies. They were just supposed to take the information from all these disparate groups and combine them into one easy to read platform for 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Before we had computers that they could all be mooshed together on. So
which still is
I don't know how they got.
If you want to get down to brass tacks, Department of Homeland Security was supposed to be the clearinghouse that brought all of those agencies together. In 2003, and 15 years later, still hasn't managed to fulfill that role.
All I know is if you're going to have a press conference, you want the FBI leading it. Up until this year. Stroke.
Oh boy.
Well, not only that, but McCabe. Who's the big?
I'm so glad he got fired before he got his final.
Why can't I think of his name?
Pension? Comey?
No,
What?
Comey. Comey. Yeah, that asshole. McCabe. I mean, honestly, even Rosenstein. Rosenstein's. I'm shocked that he still has a job and hasn't resigned. He must be the last Mohican trying to save the ship, because everything points back to his office, to his desk, not just his office, his desk.
Well, he's got that son-in-law privilege, so we'll have to see.
I guess. Like, how long have we been going here?
Well, if you guys
80
started
minutes?
at 9 o'clock, it's now 21:20 for me. So
We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything that they want to get out on the air?
no, I know I showed up late, but I was at the gym trying to get swole, yo.
Swole. That's better than healthy, at least. That's more accurate, anyway. Yeah. My favorite part was when McCabe got fired the day before he received full pension. That was nice. Like, oh, you're so close. Not going to win it, but so close. You're fired.
Oh, you can bet that his lawyers are working an angle to make sure he gets his pension.
Yeah.
And we'll probably never hear about it when he does.
Well, who did you expect to? That's the thing. we had Fox, and Fox was our lone voice that we had available to us. Now there's American One News. It's just not as prevalent, and it's not as popular.
Yeah, and then there's private subscription services like CRTV and all that bullshit.
Which is owned by Mark Levin, so I'm not going that way either. But
he's got such a fucking annoying voice.
Yeah, he does.
Plus, I know he's not part. He's part of your chosen people that you don't like. So
the hatred is strong tonight. I don't know why you guys.
The chosen hatred. Dipshit gave a job pushing a pencil for 24 hours so he could receive retirement.
You know, if you're nice to them, you might get a lucrative job.
Not in Tennessee. There's 20K in the whole state, and they're all in Memphis. Some in Nashville too. You know, record labels and whatnot. But yeah, it's absurd. But after the loss of Roger Ailes and the Sun stepped in, you know, Fox is a shell of its former self. It is nowhere near as hardy and robust as it once was. And daily basis, yes.
Do you attribute that to Ailes and O'Reilly getting the shaft, or what?
No, the replacement of Ailes by the Murdoch boys. You know, his sons, and they're douchebag. And aside from the hiring of Tucker, which is purely a financial move, all they have left is Tucker and
who's the guy from the
Hannity.
Five? Well, they have Hannity, I guess, but who's the guy from the Five? Gutfeld.
Eric Bowling?
No, Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld.
Gutfeld, bro. Gutfeld.
So what? So what?
He's 5.5 feet of conservative.
And funny. He's funny.
Just like Shapiro, well, minus the funny.
He's not Tucker funny, but he's funny.
Yeah, all they have left is Hannity. I mean, Eric Bowling.
Well, they got, as we discussed pre-show, they've got Kennedy too, except she's on the Financial Network.
She's on Fox Business.
She's not that attractive, by the way, Josh. I mean, Sean.
Who?
You are incorrect, sir. Step off.
Well, to be fair, more attractive than 20 years ago is far from being the hottest thing ever today. So he can keep his little ideas. But yeah, they're not what they once were. They're not. It's just Hannity and Tucker that are correcting the record against the entire rest of the media, and they don't have enough show in their hour to do it justice.
They really need to recreate a different audience, and I don't know that that's even possible anymore. I mean, Styx is huge into decrying that the legacy media is over and done with and dying a slow, deserved death. But I think that he's mostly incorrect in that they just need to reformat and rediscover and relearn how to do what they've always done, and they'll come back.
Yeah.
I think that Styx is, a bit Pollyanna-ish about the new media and independent content creators. These monolithic institutions aren't going anywhere. They are going to have to adapt and cater to a new audience, and they're gonna do it because they don't have any other choice.
Yeah, they're not gonna die. They're just gonna devolve into something else.
Yeah, but is there any cable news outlet that isn't mostly octogenarian viewer subscriptions?
MTV News.
Are there any? I doubt that, Till. Well.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, no, and that's why, they're just going to change and do what the independent content creators are going to do, and they're going to do so with a much bigger bankroll. And as we're seeing with what's happening with YouTube, they're going to do that. They're gonna be dominant. There's no other outcome that they're ever going to accept. They're not going to go away.
Well, I think what Maddow's like nightly views are like 300,000.
Well,
I mean,
this is the cable problem writ large. I mean, it used to be that there were 3 networks plus PBS. Then there was the UHF channels that people started watching and kind of diluted the 3 biggies. Then there were the 4 biggies. Then cable came in and split that up, and there was 97 channels with nothing on, as you know the song goes. And now there's even more. Audience and has fragmented into just ridiculously small niches. So the big broad water cooler moments that we had, well, I had as a kid, and hopefully you guys did too, they don't exist anymore. Nobody sits around the water cooler talking about what happened on the Simpsons Sunday night, because nobody's watching the Simpsons Sunday night anymore. They're watching whatever the hell they want to watch on a streaming service or YouTube or something like that.
I guarantee, like the start of MTV, MTV's first music video ever was "Video Killed the Radio Star"
by the Buggles.
And I guarantee if MTV started up today with a music channel, it'd be some gay pride shit, or it would be something virtuous over something iconic.
Yeah, see, the difference is they were right. The Buggles were right, and MTV was right, and it was a wholly different thing when it started.
Exactly, I loved it.
And in 1992, it became something other than what it had been for the last 11 years that made it iconic and great. And that's when they started losing viewership, and that's when they went downhill.
And then they started airing shit like
The
Teen
Real
Mom,
World. The Real
Teen
World.
Wolf.
It started with The Real World Season 1. The second that hit the airwaves, MTV took a gigantic shit on itself.
Because they actually had ratings.
Hey, man, don't diss my Road Rules. Whatever that is. I've never seen a Road Rules. I don't even know what it is.
Basically, a bunch of yuppie teens on a bus, if I remember correctly.
Which is fine. I mean, they were playing to the demographic that was watching them, but what they didn't realize is that demographic was really looking to go elsewhere anyway.
I really dug that. I don't remember what season it was, but there was this Mormon chick named Julie on one of the seasons of Real World. I think they were in New Orleans, and yeah, I watched that season. I think The Miz was on that season too.
Yeah, I just wanted music videos.
No, I was way off by then. Like, I was 13. I stopped watching that crap and got into No Effects, Pansy Division, No Use, Less Than Jake. Anything like 3 years worth of Warped Tours would host.
Like actual punk bands.
The Clash, yeah, Sex Pistols.
The Clash was, I would never call them punk, but they were important.
Yeah, that's like those people who call Offspring punk. Like, listen, buddy.
Or worse, Green Day.
That now we're getting into alternative, Everclear, yeah.
People think Green Day is punk, and those people are stupid.
People think Weezer is punk.
Weezer is kind of punk, or was when they first started anyway. But like the true meaning of the word, just anti-status quo. Like they did everything they did was different than everybody else.
When I heard that NoFX got booed off of Vegas and lost sponsorships, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. What did you expect from a punk band?
Sponsorships? NoFX?
Well, there is that. Yeah, they had the Punk and Drublic tour, which was great.
I went to the Punk and Drublic, yeah.
I
wasn't even old enough to
the
drive.
most underrated punk band of all time. The Go-Go's.
Oh, yeah.
Next, you're going to say Blondie.
Nope, the Go-Go's.
Or no, Blondie started out as disco, and then kind of went punkish.
She was
rock
never punk.
roll. I know she was never punk, but she tried to. The band tried to make themselves that way.
Yeah, she dabbled in disco and then new wave and then rock and roll and even rap. At a very
I was gonna say, you know who
early
else
age.
wants their MTV? Sean,
Who?
the Dire Straits.
Money for nothing, dude. Chicks for free.
Yeah, I know. Microwave ovens.
Yeah, the little faggot's got his own jet airplane.
Microwave oven. Yeah, the B-52s were the best punk bag ever.
I like the B-52s.
You would.
I always thought they always looked old.
You just.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know why, but I could definitely see Sean jamming out to Rock Lobster.
Hell yes. Every single time it comes on.
Oh, good God.
And My Own Private Idaho, too. That one's also very much a jammable classic.
I just realized that I got me a car that's as big as a wheel.
Yeah, Love Shack I'm not so big on. But I do like Rome. Rome was definitely their most underrated song. It should have been bigger than Love Shack, honestly.
I got a buddy who's been posting Christian stuff for like the last couple months, and in like the last week, I think he forgot what the word Christian meant because he just posted, "I want everyone on the planet that is to the left of Alex Jones dead. What ideology is this?" It's like, dude, you're the worst Christian ever.
Yeah.
You're just freaking awful. All right, so who are the 5 dumbest people you can think of, Josh?
5 dumbest people I can think of?
Yeah. That everyone would know.
There's Maxine Waters, for one.
She was on my list.
Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, okay. That's biased, but I'll allow it.
Nancy Pelosi.
Eh.
I'm
noticing a trend in your list.
No,
Yeah.
there's.
He's a woman hater.
Yeah.
Yes.
He-Man woman hater.
There's also Mark Cuban. I can't stand that guy. He may be smart. He may be rich. God.
He may be smart, but he's going on my dumbest list.
Yeah. Well.
Not Jim Acosta?
We can go with Wolf Blitzer or Jim Acosta. How about that?
Ah, Wolf Blitzer was on my list. Garrick, you don't remember my list. You pick 5.
My list usually mostly contains reality show stars. So it's a bit of a cop-out, I know, but it is what it is.
Bristol Palin.
The Jenners. What was it?
I don't know about that one.
I know they're
don't really know
successful, but
I don't know the Jenners. I mean, I don't know any of them except for Kim Kardashian.
Kendall and Kylie, they're the only 3 you really need to know.
I just know Kim and Eric.
Kim, who got famous by a porn video.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
To be fair, that wouldn't have been anything if it wasn't for her dad. So really, it was her dad was an OJ attorney.
No, it really wouldn't have been anything except for Ray J.
There was also the whole, what was it?
You guys remember when I banged Brandy's little brother?
Yeah.
Well, she also
There's
worked
also-
for Paris Hilton when Paris Hilton did basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who the hell was that with? Was Shannon Doherty's ex-husband or something?
Who cares? Let it die.
Oh, Bandit says Tim Kaine. That's a good one.
Mm.
He might
There's
knock
only
off one
one
of my
reality TV show.
Miss
Cops.
America those. Because mine was Maxine Waters, Don Lemon, Sheila Jackson Lee, Hank Johnson, who thought that sending too many Marines to Guam would cause it to tip over. So he doesn't understand island technology. Sheila Jackson Lee, who thought that Buzz Aldrin landed on Mars. So she got the list. And Wolf Blitzer, who ended up going negative $4,000 on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Not the SNL version, too.
Yeah, not the SNL version. The real version.
I mean, there's also, God, what was the tranny that ran for Congress? What was its
Brianna
name?
Wu.
Brianna Wu was on there too.
Not Chelsea Manning.
Not Chelsea Manning.
Well, what'd Chelsea say? Because Brianna thought that if you were working on if you were fixing something on the moon and you dropped the screw, it would cascade down to Earth and kill people.
Yes.
Yeah, Brianna Wu was definitely stupid, but Chelsea Manning said something that made me understand that she knew what Windows tasted like.
She.
To be fair,
is he still breathing? By the way.
Yes.
Yeah, he's alive.
Okay.
Who's still breathing?
Manning.
Brad Manning. To be fair, I once made a comment that I do not like coffee. I only like cappuccinos. I was not aware that cappuccinos are a form of coffee.
Razorfish just put out a new video.
Welcome to 40 minutes ago.
Yeah. This just said he just tweeted it out 8 minutes ago, jackass. So fuck off.
Yeah, well, I got the notice when it went live. How about that?
Good for you.
The quartering
you got a
is
little brown on your nose there, Sean.
I'm cooler than you. No, I still haven't met the guy. I mean, he's like 20 minutes away, and I haven't met the guy yet. Bugs the hell out of me.
I support gay marriage. I have a private DM group of trans friends. I voted for Obama. I want to legalize it. Tell me again about my far-right homophobic racism. You're not going to win this one, quartering.
Yeah, we need a better hero in the quartering.
Get punched, noob.
He did. Repeatedly. That's
And
kind of the
then
problem.
He ran away. Ran away like a biatch.
Well, it looked like the guy was actually more physically fit and larger than him. So that's a legitimate strategy.
Who isn't more physically fit than I am, though? I'll still take you out.
Not if I dance backwards at a rapid rate.
Hey, now. Wait till I get my rascal.
All right, we've done this nonsense long enough. I'm gonna
hold on. Michael Malice did a live stream on Alex Jones called "Live Stream on Alex Jones et al." And it had 536 views, not much, but it has been demonetized. He's saying mentioning real Alex Jones in your video gets you instantly demonetized on YouTube. Hey,
I got a dislike.
That must be from YouTube since you don't have monetization. If that's the measurement, I'm doing so many things right.
What do you know, Sean? You're a somebody on YouTube.
I'm somebody. Somebody hates me.
Is SJL the only? Is the one with all the cowboy hats?
How do none of you guys have Tariq Nasheed on your list?
I don't think about him.
Yeah.
He's
not a thing.
And I'm not sure he is not a Poe.
Okay, that's a good point.
Between his commercially available CD, "Wash Your Ass," and the fact that one time he PayPal'd $20 to some black guy for being a white supremacist operative, getting dumb monies from Dwighty. He sent some black guy $20. I'm like, that's gotta be I'm 71% sure you're a Poe. Because he posted, like, he just spread awareness about the Alex Jones thing too, saying that, darkies are next. So while getting out the fact that Alex Jones, because he's always doing this, it's something poignant having to do with what's going on, then he turns it to black people, which in all real effect is saying, you let this happen, here's what happens next, which means he's forming mobs to go against the things that I just happen to not like. But sometimes you're just stupid. Like Progressive Dad. Prog Dad is freaking awful. But you can obviously tell everything he's doing is satirical. Even though he just posted himself as Antifa and threatened to beat white people with bats. And I'm like, yeah, bats aren't guns. Good luck with that. He said he did gun KFC out. It wasn't KFC, it was Buffalo Wild Wings. Bandit.
Yep. Buffalo Wild Wings Twitter got hacked.
Is SJL the one with all the cowboy? Who's SJL? SJ. I don't know who SJL is. Sheila Jackson Lee. Yes, Sheila Jackson Lee is the one with the cowboy hats, usually pink and too small for her head. And Wolf Blitzer was that final one. So it was 4 blacks and Wolf Blitzer.
Rosie O'Donnell never made either of your lists either.
She's stupid. She's not dumb.
She's irrelevant now.
No. She just serenaded the White House while President Trump was somewhere the fuck else. Yeah, I eventually got that. I was thinking of Cowboys, the team, not Cowboys, the Ranchers. It's like, I think you're thinking of Matt Christensen, and those are Minnesota hats.
Sheila Jackson Lee. Who's that?
Florida
She's the
congresswoman that wears the hats.
Yeah, the cowboy hats.
Okay.
She's the one who thought that Neil Armstrong landed on the Mars. God, I keep saying I want to say the moon. It's Mars.
On the Mars.
Yeah. I think the best, not really alliteration, but the best kind of slogan is that InfoWars was 86th on 86. I think that was clever.
What?
Today is
86 on 86. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get out of here.
Yeah, we can go out here. I think we have literally Bandit watching besides us.
Thanks, Bandit. We appreciate you.
We do appreciate you. We love you.
He's the lone bandit.
All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, boys.
Good night.
We are the Lone Rangers.
But there's 3 of you. Yeah.
Yeah, we tell each other to fuck off, so it's all good.
Oh, Garrick, you're so young.
Can we be considered the lone gunman?
That was also 3 people. No, it's a band of 3 people from Airheads, and they call themselves the Lone Rangers.
Yep.
Yes. It's a great movie with Brendan Fraser, actually.
It's actually pretty good.
Steve
Brendan
Buscemi.
Fraser.
You know,
Steve
lone gunman.
Buscemi. Was it?
I'm stopping the broadcast. Good night, everybody.